I am the museum project coordinator for the African American Museum and Library. And we are just so honored to be celebrating 50 years with Everett and Jones. How about that? The African American Museum and Library at Oakland, what could we be without celebrating a restaurant that has this long legacy, that has been in the community, that is part of why Oakland is what it is. I mean, it was brought to me that it was the 50th. I was really surprised. I didn't know. I knew they were in existence for quite some time, but I didn't know it was 50. So when I was told it was 50, and then I had the pleasure of meeting Miss Shirley. We talked on the phone for a bit. It was like we were old friends. So we have this wonderful relationship, and you know, with his and her posse, they cut in. There she is right there. You know, and we're coming in and we're talking about what we're going to do, how AAMLO is going to participate. We're coming together, and I want you to know that my job for this event was fun. Working with them were amazing. There she is, my girl right here. So we're like, it is such an honor to have all of you to come out and celebrate this. And we start our events on time. So I'm sure people are going to be coming in. But you know what they say about starting events on time, right? So we do that. Before we get into our program, I want to tell you a little bit about this institution. The African American Museum and Library opened up in 2002, February. So that means we are actually celebrating 21 years in this building. And what really makes that extraordinary is the fact that, well, when I came here in 2002, I will be celebrating 21 years in October here. Oh. Okay? So what was really ironic that when we opened up in February of 2002, there were a lot of challenges that we had to go through. Some girl in here. Yeah. And it was like, you know, I was new here. I'm originally from Southern California, so the Bay Area, you know, operates a little bit different than Southern Cal. So I didn't have a lot of friends because I was from Southern California, so I wasn't really welcome to land a position there. However, there were a handful of people who said to me, no, you're here, we want you here. It's George Gordon, my number one. I'm her number one fan. I came in as a management assistant. I was only supposed to be here a year, 21 years now. Went a promotion, museum project coordinator. So I am so happy. The institution itself, 2002 we opened up. And when we opened up, we had 3 departments here. And that was not the secret library. That was the archives department. Over 161 collections, such as Ron Dellums, when he was in Congress for 23 years. All this documentation is here. We have Ida Jackson, the first African-American school teacher in Oakland High School district. What about Morton Turner, the legendary cartoonist? We have Reading a Week, his collection is here. Congresswoman Barbeque, okay? Her collection is here. We share her collection with Mills College because she was a graduate from Mills College. We have no other than Henry Delta. He is a legendary Motown designer. He came to Oakland when he was 7 years old and became world known for creating designs for our own Lady Williams, okay, and Martha Reason and Daniels, who's actually at AAMLO twice performing, okay, and Diana Ross, Jackson 5, and just on and on. So, and then you have the Pullman Porters collection here. Then you have families who are not so famous like me. I'm not famous. But we have families that have art history in Oakland, and our mission is to preserve African American history and culture. So, the fact is that the resources here are numerous. We have the archives department, we have the library. Library has over 16,000 books on African American history and culture, which does not include a rare book collection, which is stored in a temperature-controlled environment. Oldest book we have here is 1815. Wow. Yes, and it's a journal of a Navy captain. No, he's not African American, but he talks about an African American person whom he calls the cook. I prefer to call him the chef, because he's all through the journal making these recipes up for all the ship crew. So you're talking about a sea living library, which is our latest, which you can go and get seats for free, take them home, throw them in small containers and large containers, and all for free. And then come back and bring us some seats. And that's why we call it AAMLO Sea Living Library, which now has its own department. So you're talking about an institution that is trying to do their best to reach out to the community, engage with the community, and trust me, that's what we've done all these years, and we will continue to do it. Now, the museum gallery here, as you can see on my left, my right, east wing, west wing, this is toward tomorrow. That is the history of Oakland, beginning with the 1800s to the 1900s. What you see in this exhibit, all the audio, visual, the kiosks, touchscreens, you're not going to find anywhere else. We talk about Oakland. These huge banners here, there, those are not people ask me, did you get those images from the Getty Museum in Southern California? No, we got those images from our collection. Those are proud people of Oakland. Wow. All around you. These are all Oakland people. So that's what we talk about. That's what we're here for. So that gives you a little bit of insight. Then you have the mural by the staircase, over the staircase. Take a look at it before you leave, which is history, African American history. The mural was done by 2 Oakland artists, not in another state or another city. Oakland artists, okay? Danielle Galvez and Patricia Montgomery created that mural for us. And at that time, they were all here resident at Oakland. Now, I'll back up just a little bit. The history of this building was done by an African-American architect, Michael Willis. Okay? So when they were going to tear this building down after the earthquake, 89? I wasn't here. Do you know where you were? Yeah. Okay, where were you? You West Oakland? Where were you? San Francisco. Okay. So, but the 1906 earthquake that hit the Bay Area, this building didn't do anything. It survived. It was that strong in 1906. San Francisco got it pretty bad in 1906. Remember that? So the murals that you see here, this one, and there's 2 on the other side. That, we have 6 murals. Those are by Arthur Matthews. He's not African American. But Arthur Matthews had a studio in San Francisco. And during that earthquake in 1906, this collection was supposed to be 14. But it all went up in flames, except for the ones that you see here. So they belong to us, and that's why they are here. It's a part of this historical building, because we are a national historical building. Okay, so that gives you a little bit of insight about us. Here, so now, let's talk about why we're really here. To celebrate Everett and Jones 50 years. And with that in mind, I still want to bring up my library assistant, and he's going to show you a little bit about what we have in the collection. It's very brief. And while he's setting up, I want to talk about membership here. We have the Friends Stewards of the African American Museum and Library, and I think we have Sherry, we have Lee, we got Claudia back there, our vice president, our parliamentarian, our chair, hospitality chair here, and wave, everybody, wave all these good people here. They're here to answer your questions, becoming a member of this institution, to support this institution. They'll be happy to talk to you about that, okay? So, Marco, shall I keep talking or are you ready? Oh yeah, I love it. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. So this here is a just short presentation on some of the things that we have in our archives collection. So our archives has over 160 collections that document basically the African American experience here in Oakland. So entrepreneurs, as she said, African American first, so the first African American school teacher, and all of those. So this is our archives and our departments and things downstairs. Just so you know, our reference library is reference only, so nothing checks out, but if you see something you want, we can get it at another library for you. And as far as our start, these are our founders here, the Fords, the Sardabays, Madison Harvey, Mary Turner, of course, who created the Wheat House, but they started in their own homes. And all these people have been collecting all of these documents and things for many years, and they saw that they had a common interest. So what they did is they opened up a storefront, and people could come in and see all of the documents and the photos and things that they had been collecting over the decades. And over time, they amassed so much, and more people were interested in donating their collection. So what started out as 5, 6 collections is now over 160 collections. They moved to the Golden Gate Library, and then we finally moved here to the African American Museum and Library here. Now, as far as the archives, so these are some of the archival collections that we have. So we have Ron Dellum's papers, we have Barbara Lee's papers, so both congressmen and also Ron Dellum, who served as the mayor of Oakland as well. First African American school teachers, Ida Jackson, who taught in Oakland. Ruth Hackey, who taught in Berkeley. Annette Bruce Hudson, on the left there, she had a charm school here in West Oakland. And her husband actually had the Hudson Funeral Home as well. Maury Turner, one of the founders of the organization here, but he had the Wheat House, which was a comic strip that was in the newspaper for many years. And then finally, Henry W. Williams, who was a Motown designer who designed dresses for Diana Ross and the Supremes, Comedian Liddell, and the one that you see there on the right-hand side is one that we had on display for years by Mark Reeves. So yeah, this is Luther Hudson, just quickly through these, who had the Hudson Funeral Home. Annette Bruce Hudson, so she had the School of Charm, Annette School of Charm here. And then so Oakland 7th Street. So 7th Street had a number of different businesses here. So we had Slim Jenkins, we had Esther's Orlick Room. So Slim Jenkins had a nightclub, restaurant, liquor store, all in that corridor. And so it was an area that thrived for many years. And West Oakland was one of the places that African Americans actually, when they migrated here to West Oakland, because many people like the Porters, they had to live in West Oakland in order for them to, when they got the call to come to work, they could get to work as soon as possible. So that area really began to thrive for many years. And then of course you had the three things. So we had the BART station, we had the Cypress Freeway, and then we had the post office that led to the displacement of many families and businesses in that area. This is T.J. Robinson, who had the gingerbread house that was here in West Oakland as well. said. So he had a comic strip that was in a newspaper for many years. We have his oral histories here that you can actually hear upstairs. But in our oral histories are also on an online archive where you can listen to those in their entirety. Harold Thompson, who was the first African American police officer here for the Oakland Police Department. William Watts. So he was a doctor who opened his own facilities because at the time, many organizations here were created as parallel organizations to white organizations because they weren't allowed in those organizations. So here we had nurses who weren't allowed into into white organizations like Highland Hospital. They wouldn't accept nurses into their nursing program for many years. So he was one of those that actually trained many of the nurses in the field. And these other educators. We have Ida Jackson and Ruth Ackley, as I said. Ruth Ackley was the first teacher in Berkeley. Ida Jackson, the first teacher in Oakland. And so she taught at Prescott School, which was one of the only schools that they would allow African American teachers to teach at the time. But both of these teachers, they had to go like hundreds and hundreds of miles away just to get that initial experience in order to come back here to their hometowns where they wanted to teach and get that opportunity. And this is Henry Delta Williams. So the one in the middle is by Martha Reeves, for Martha Reeves. We had the comedian Linnell, Frida Payne, and also Martha Reeves. So these are some designs that we have in our archives department, so we don't just have papers and things in those, paintings and pictures in our collections as well. And then finally, you can also go online and see many of the collections and things that we have. So many of our collections are digitized on the online archive of California and on Calisphere. So you can go to Calisphere and see many of those documents and also photos. But then also on the right-hand side is the online archive. So you'll see the little small eye that's by the collections. So that means those are digitized items that you can actually look at in those collections. And then this is the Internet Archive. So this is where, up here you hear the snippets of those interviews, but these are the full-length interviews and things that you can hear online of those individuals that have been interviewed. So there's probably 70 or 80 different interviews and things that we have in those collections. So that is a little bit about what's in the collections and things. I'll turn this back over to Lisa.
Okay, so we want to bring on the fabulous Ricky Stevens. Ricky, are you in the house? Marco, do you have a one, Ricky, that you wanted to share?
So Ricky Stevens is a local resident born here in Oakland, and she was a veteran radio and television personality and world traveler, and she did the first nationally televised story on Everett and Jones back in 1994. She also does Black Paris tours that she actually does throughout the years as well. So Ricky Stevens. Stevenson.
Thank you, Vida. Shirley? Where is she? Shirley's right here. So, okay, we go back a long way. I've had Ricky as my guest for many, many years, and boy, we're going to keep up doing what we're doing.
Yes, we are.
And today is super special because now I got you in the house, I got Joyce in the house. Martha in the house, and of course, Shirley. So today, I'm having fun at my own event. All right, I'll turn this over to Ricky Stevenson. Ricky.
Hey, y'all. Excuse me. I just got off the freeway. My daughter drawn me out. Memorial service for my uncle Henry Orton in Palo Alto. If any of you were in the Stanford area, if any of you were in East Palo Alto, Nairobi, you probably knew Henry Orton. He was on the school board, he was on the administrative staff at Stanford for 30-some years. Wonderful man. Just dragged all of us around. And so he died in December, but the family was so spread out that they couldn't have the memorial until today. But that has kept me here. And then when Shirley called and said, Ricky, this is what we're going to do, I was like, great, I'm there. Excuse me for being a little late. And when you have cousins that you've known for 50 years, half a century, you got to spend a little time with them. Half a century with Everett and Jones. Isn't it amazing? Raise your hand. Raise your hand when I talk about Everett and Jones. That taste comes to the back of your mind. Come on, raise your hand. If you ever had their barbecue, the greens, mac and cheese, sweet potatoes, girl, your family has done the amazing. I'm so gratified and have such a great respect for our community that there was never a break-in. Never a break-in until recently. Don't tell anybody, but she told me about the video. And it was someone who was not black. That's respect. Isn't that respect?
Yes.
You all have legacy, not just history, legacy. And I'm so proud that she asked me to be here today to moderate. Now she's going to tell me what to do. Should I?
Hello? Girl, they got it looking real nice up in here. Yeah. I don't know, all happy for you. I'm going to give you a call back if they're looking at me. How y'all doing? Yeah, let's get up there this morning. Hey, I don't know you can. Perry, right? We. Yeah. Get you, down. I'm on the chocolate lot now. Nah. Now, Shirley said I can come up here and say something to y'all. How y'all looking good? My name is Mima Jenkins. Hold that for me, baby, because somebody about to call me. All right, how y'all doing? I'm Mima Jenkins, and I'm in this building. This is lovely. They call me the Black Panther. Don't call me a cougar, call me a Black Panther. Yes. I love me some Everett and Jones. Yes, I do. I remember when they opened up. Yeah, yes, I do. Don't tell nobody. This is, They was down there about the East Bay Dragons. I love the East Bay Dragons now. That's why I was hanging out there. All those lovely men and things up in there. I remember. Look here, they used to call Fruitvale the little pig, the 3 little pigs, huh? I used to be hanging on down there, and it was so beautiful and just so cultured. I love barbecue, and I used to bring it to my kids. Generations. How many of y'all had grandkids, kids, everybody? Generations. Lovely people. You hear me? If you was hungry, and you went up to an Everett Jones and say, I'm hungry, can somebody feed me? Guess what? They gonna feed you like you paid for that meal. They give it up. They fed me many a time, you know? And then May Walker, I remember May Walker. Y'all remember May Walker? She was the one that made them cakes and pies. She can make a red velvet cake that makes you slap somebody on, but not mine, but somebody. You hear me? And now they don't bake cakes like they used to. They get it off TikTok, Instagram. They do. That's not the real cake. They have the real cakes and pies. It was a beautiful thing, you know? So I'm just here because I'm a comedian. Y'all looking at me. I was supposed to did that. Get y'all attention. Look, some people was ready to fight. She ain't coming up in here with all that, with them telephones and everything. Because this is 50 years. You hear me? Give it up for 50 years. 50 years of black excellence all up and through these Oakland streets. You hear me? 50. Now, y'all remember when 73? Y'all remember 73? How many of y'all remember 73? Oh, y'all do? Hey, is that my baby back there? Hey. I ain't gonna, hey, she done kicked me out many times because I've been cutting up. How you doing out there, Miss Helen? Oh, that's good. You sure live looking good. Look here, black don't crack unless you smoke it. That's what I heard. Hey, they might not let me back up in here no more, so let me just get it on out the way. Somebody said, right. But that's okay, because in 73, do y'all know gas was only 40 cents? Now it's $1,000 a gallon, huh? Look here, bread. You know what? Y'all know the music. Y'all know Roberta Flack? That's been killing me softly with him. I can't sing, but you know I got the heart of a singer. But that's when that song came out. 73, that's when everybody was family and love. They cutting up these days, you hear me? You can have these cell phones, they record everything, you hear me? Everything being recorded. They're not helping nobody, they rather record than help. I sure hate that. You know, sometimes I sure hate that's here. Because, they record everything. And then they got that Facebook. Ooh, I can't stand that Facebook. Because people be telling all their business on that Facebook. All they did is telling everything on that Facebook. I went here, I did that. Do they know that people be looking at all that stuff? They watching all that stuff. And I'm them people. Hear me? I be on that page. When they say the baby mama ugly, I'm strolling to see how ugly she is. They say the kids is cutting up, I'm just strolling and looking at everybody's business. They tell it all. You go to that page, this page, look here, one day I strolled for 3 days. Then I messed around and commented on the page. They said, who is you? I said, wrong number. Ooh, they got me, I got caught up. But I just stopped by here because this is a beautiful thing. It looks like we celebrating all the women of barbecue. You hear me? This is Women's History Month. Where my girls at? Where the girls are at? Hey. It's a beautiful thing. Now, I didn't went with all my sugar babies. I like some young. That's okay. Not R. Kelly young, but I like them like 30 and under. Because you ain't got to do nothing for them to get them some Yeezy slides. You know, they tired of that Uber Eats and all that stuff. I don't like people delivering stuff. You don't know what people got in their cars and their houses. You let them deliver the food. You know, they trying to be digging all up and through there. Y'all didn't do that. Did y'all do that DoorDash Uber Eats? No, they had to come up there, right? That's what I like. That good stuff. You come there, I'm telling you. You know, I like some young, but let me tell y'all a little story before I go. Because you know I'm single and ready to mingle. So I had my little niece put me on, do any of y'all on that, what you call it, online dating? Don't do it. I let my niece set me up a profile on that online dating. She set me up on Plenty of Fish. There was plenty of sharks on there. They were just coming all after me and stuff. And so I was messing around with this young man, just, you know, we going hanging out, walking the lake and doing like little stuff, you know, little nice fierce things, you know. And so then I got a little call from his little girlfriend. And she called me talking about, oh woman, I know you're not talking to my man. You know, these kids watch that Love and Hip Hop and they talk a lot of mess with between text messages, but they don't want none. But I ain't gonna talk about that. I used to fight back in the day, but not now. I'm blessed and highly favored and trying to get in them gates. You hear me? So I'm doing what's right. right. Right, amen. So I'm talking to him, right? And I got busted. So I went down to the church house, right? The deacon, the mother board, the usher board, all them was like, I say, Child, that was Deacon Walker's grandbaby little girlfriend. They done put me out the church now. So I'm here. Y'all got a church house for me. Go ahead, because I done got kicked out the church. So y'all got a church home? They said, oh, pastor here, Reverend, I'm trying to get my life right, because Jesus is coming soon, morning or not at noon. You hear me? We have tornadoes, earthquakes, everybody. They bipping all up and through. I had to make sure we check our cars. I'm going to go down there and check everybody's car, because I heard about Oakland. See, I live in Stockton now, because I couldn't afford to be in Oakland, you know. So I'm in Stockton now, and I came out here. And you know, I try to go to some of the restaurants that I like, right? And I see Quickway, I try to go to Quickway. But that's not Quickway no more, that's Vegan Mine. Then they got Malibu burgers, and I'm like, when y'all stop eating meat out here in Oakland? But there is one business that I know is still here. And that's Everett and Jones, eh? Everett and Jones still here, 50 years later. Go ahead, I'm not gonna go play that. You know, because I've been on a 10-day cleanse now. Let me get some of them links. But I just stopped by to just say, my name is Mimar Jenkins, and it's an honor for me to be here, standing here in front of you guys, in front of this African American Museum, celebrating 50 years of barbecue. Barbecue 50 years. So I love y'all. Love, peace, and hair grease, and just go ahead. I'm out.
Mimar Jenkins. It's a cross between Lunel and...
They told me that I wasn't doing their money.
and Mom's Mabley.
Okay.
Thank you. Yes, I know. Thank you, Mimar. So, it's good to see you. Thank you for being here. How did I get here? Did you tell me something? You were okay. Well, in 1990, I was the first African American woman hired to be an international traveler. San Francisco-based news travel network. It was hilarious. That's what I always wanted to do. That's what I always wanted to do. I won't go through all the history, but my mother had been a professional dancer, taking me to see Josephine Baker when I was 3. I saw her again when I was 10. Met James Baldwin on Stanford campus when I was 11. Still have the book that he autographed for me to buy her next time. But years later, maybe like 10, 15 years later, I had a chance to interview James Baldwin. And I worked for National Black Network. Where did all that come from? I'm a little kid growing up, born here, raised in East Palo Alto. For those of you from the neighborhood, you know it's East Palo Alto. Then named Nairobi. And I wanted to be a newscaster when I was 6 years old. I told my mother and father. I remember sitting in front of the television watching NBC News. It only came on a couple times a day, once or twice a day. And I said, I want to go to New York when I grow up and be a newscaster. And they were like, silly kid. Okay. And I did it. That is the power of people in your community pushing you, nudging you, supporting you, loving you. If we don't do it today, it's on us. If you see a child and that child is going someplace, if you see a child, that child isn't even going someplace. I remember talking to the kids on the park, and I tell them, get off. And they started following me. First I was a little concerned. I'm like, what? They're like, well, we gonna see you tomorrow? You know, we have to talk to our children. Okay, let me step back on that. But that's where I come from. All that I have is a result of my Uncle Hank giving me teach me how to play tennis, giving me my first dozen roses when I was in a school play. You think I don't love that man? You think I don't love the people who watched me, who punished me before I even got home? Now, I know you can't do that today, but we still have some way of monitoring and supporting and loving our children, our young people. And I urge you, do that. That is why Everett and Jones has been here for 50 years. Let me go back to the story. So I got hired by the San Francisco-based News Travel Network, and the suits guys in the front office, they called me in, they said, you know, you're the first black woman we've ever hired. Good for you. and then they said, you're going out into the world, we're going to send you all around the world. You know you're black. Yeah, I've been black for a long time, having a good time, huh? You know? And they said, you may run into some problems. The only problems I ever ran into, guess where? San Diego, how'd you know? San Diego. I'm going with my film crew, there'd be 5 or 6 of us. I walk up to the desk at this, I can't remember the name of this hotel, very elegant, old school, elegant, wonderful hotel. And I presented them up, he said, we're here to do a story. And they were like, well, wait, we have to check. What? Never ran into any racism, ignorance, stupidity until San Diego, California. San Diego. So I knew I wanted to be out in the world. I knew I had to be out in the world. Went to Saudi Arabia when I was married to my husband who was from Baltimore. And when we got to the airport, the people were like, hey, welcome home, sister. Welcome home. Yeah, you black? We black? I'm like, it looks like Oakland up in here. Go to Halifax, Nova Scotia. I'm like, that really looks like Oakland. How long have black people been here? Oh, we've been here since the 1770s when the British were defeated by those American terrorists. They took as many of the black people as had worked with them, had fought with them, fought on the side of the British, and took them to Halifax, Nova Scotia. Because they said, these people are crazy. They're going to kill you. So we're going to transport you to Nova Scotia. There is an African town in Nova Scotia. Let me not get too far away from my story. So after I told these guys, yes, I'm going to work and be the first black you have, and then out on the road, I'd see these wonderful stories, or the taste of great food, or go walk in the Underground Railroad that had been created at Lexington Market in Baltimore, or go to the first synagogue in the United States. It's in Newport, Rhode Island, and they were so afraid that they were going to be attacked that they created a tunnel underneath the synagogue that went out to the ocean. They thought they were going to be attacked and run off. And when they didn't have to use it, I remember the rabbi, as I'm interviewing him, he said, you know, you would be interested in this. So I told my cameraman, turn the camera back on. He said, when we didn't have to use it for ourselves, we used it as a stump on the Underground Railroad. Or go to a little farmhouse that was made into a big farmhouse in Hobson's Bluff, Illinois. And it was an old farmhouse, early 1770s, created by a French family. And it was a stump on the Underground Railroad. And Frederick Douglass had stopped there. And so I went to the guys and I said, listen, this is a fun job. And I'm really enjoying going to Scotland and all these other places, Hawaii and da 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 da. Hawaii, they were like, hey girl. We blacked out. I'm going to Asia, yeah girl, we blacked out. What? You don't know what it's like to be out. You probably do. Many of you are probably travelers, that's why you're here. And enjoying the barbecue, you gotta come back home for foundation. But after that, I went to the guys and I said, listen, I want to do more stories about Black history, about Black food, about Black destinations. They were like, well, why? I opened my cahier, that means my notebook, and I said, because in 1992, in the middle, African Americans spent $29 billion a year traveling. Billion, not million. Billion. They were like, can we help you pack? And after that, I got to do the most wonderful stories. And one of them that I took great pride in doing was with some siblings, twin sisters, who were in Napa, but we were also going to incorporate Everett and Jones Barbeque. And when Shirley called me to ask me to MC this event, she said, we have a videotape. I'm like, what? I don't even have that video. So I want you guys, Monsieur, est-ce que vous êtes prêts? He's going to show us that videotape. This will be the second time I'm getting to see it. That's my cameraman, that was Chris Pena.
As an alternative way to travel, some people like to visit monuments or state capitals. Others, like us, like to go and really get a flavor of the area you're visiting.
We caught up with the Ingle twins on a recent trip through California.
Hi!
This is Everett and Jones Barbeque restaurant in Hayward, California. Here, the sauce is the main attraction.
People in Maine probably have never tasted barbecue like this. And if they didn't know about Everett and Jones, they would go through life missing one of the great wars. Believe me.
No matter where these food-finding twins go, it's the taste that drives them. At Kozlowski's farm in Sonoma County, California, even the youngest family members help to create the all-natural jams and jellies. And the results? Shelves of homegrown gourmet goodies with more than 70 different products. Kozlowski's is a shopper's delight.
Yellow raspberries. A lot of people have never tried yellow raspberries. Golden raspberries. Great looking marmalade. Kiwi jam.
Now that's just a sampling of the great food you'll find in this book. There's plenty more like Tennessee's Goo Goo clusters, mucked fudge in Oregon, and even potato-shaped candy bars to be found in Idaho.
Thanks, I had a good time. Those pies were wonderful.
Thanks. Bye, Ricky. Look, our next place is like 2 days away, hard drive, and you'd love it. Come on.
I'll read about it. Thanks.
Now there are more than 250 food finds in the book, many of which you can order by mail. Now the book costs $16, and if you can't find it at your local bookstore, you can call 1-800-331-3761.
That was in 1994. I'm happy to know that I preceded, I can't remember his name now, but we started doing stories about Black destinations, Gates Barbecue. Do you know that beignets came from Africa? Do you know that beignets were created in West Africa and then came with us? Not when we were enslaved, when we came as honored guests, teaching the people in South Carolina how to cultivate rice. We were not enslaved. They brought us as artisans, because if they had brought us as slaves, we could have just sat there. I'm not doing it, or I'm not going to do it right. It was a high art. I learned so much about who we are. and what we brought by being on the road. And so, that is how I got to know Everett and Jones. They then did not even have the restaurant in Jack London Square in Oakland, but I did get to meet your mom and some of the other sisters. And what an honor to have watched you for 50 years. Thank you, Shirley. Are there any other sisters in the house? Would you stand up, please? Ellen? What we're going to do now is we are going to, it's not only Women's History Month, and it's not only the 50th celebration for Everett and Jones, but it's also an opportunity, and this is why I love these folks, is that they also are inclusive. So she said, no, this isn't going to be just about us. This is going to also be about Flint's barbecue, about Carmen and Family's barbecue, and Tennessee's barbecue. Would any of you who are representative of those families, please stand up. Shall we begin our panel? Pastor? Where is it?
Yes, how are you?
Would you like to?
I think I can speak a little loud. Everybody can hear me, right?
No.
Okay.
Pastor Barnes, thank you.
All
Would you
right.
take off your mask?
Would I take off my mask?
Just for a moment, pull it down.
There's nothing in the, okay.
Thank
Okay. All right. First of all, I'm so delighted to be here. I got a personal chance to know the family. Many of them were members of our church. And I got a chance to know the mother. She said something, one statement she always said. She said, if you know better, you ought to do better. That was our statement. If you know better, do better. And we started out at the Abyssinian Church. She was a member of the church for many years. And I was the pastor of the church. And I said to her, I said, I wanted to do something in terms of feeding people that was unfortunate, the homeless. I wanted to feed them. And we didn't have any money. We didn't have any money. We had not very many members, probably about 10 or 12 members. I said, but that's what I wanted to do. And she says, no problem. She said, I'll take care of it. And she was feeding them like it was a restaurant. I mean, I didn't eat at home those days that she fed. Because, she would give a potato salad, barbecue this, barbecue that. And everybody, we had lines. I'm talking about on a Thursday, we would feed maybe 400 to 500 people free.
Yeah.
Free, listen to that, free. And we would line up, and she shared with them. She was in charge of the kitchen, of course. And she shared with them, she said, listen, if you can't treat those people with dignity, don't come down here to help at all. That's what she said. Everybody, we helped the low, the lonely, the least, the left out, the locked up, those that just got out. We have quite a few people. And all I would do, I would take the credit like I was doing something. And I couldn't cook and still can't cook. But I took all of the credit of it because of the fact I had someone like your mother. And when they shared with me to come down here, as a matter of fact, anytime any Everett and Jones person called me, I'm going to come. Because of the fact that their family have helped so many people in their lives. I remember back, and I'll just share this with you because you don't give a Black Baptist preacher mic, he'll talk all day. So when I remember when I was 14 years old, from Louisiana, we were on welfare, 17 years of my life. 17 years was on welfare. I was 14 years old, and it was Thanksgiving, and we were sitting on my porch, and as we were sitting on my porch, we were shooting dice. That's right, 7. Somebody will help me here today. 11, if you don't know, but anyway. We were on our porch, and we're shooting dice. And those people came, and I say those people because they were of another nationality. And what they went around to do was to make sure that poor people would get food. And they brought food to us. And I'm sitting around there with my friends. And I'm going like, we don't need any food. But I was lying, we did need it. I was 14 years old. I said, we don't need you people to bring no food to us. And I started crying. And I remember I threw the dice down. I don't even know if it went 7 or 11. I have no idea. But I threw the dice down and began to run to my sister's house crying. Because my friends, they had something that I hadn't had. They were laughing at me. They were laughing at me because we had people to come bring us food. And I was running across the field. And as I began to run across the field, I shall never forget, I heard a voice at 14 years old said to me that whenever you are able, make sure that you feed others.
Yes.
Make sure that you feed others.
Yes.
5 months after I was the pastor of the city, that's when Everett and Jones, they help us to feed so many people. I'm so thankful to them for doing it, continuously feeding people. And then what I like about them, they didn't give them no scraps. And I told them, and I shared with our church, we don't give people used clothes. What we do is get people to buy new clothes and give to people. If you want to give them a sweatshirt, don't give them one out of your closet. Give them one that you like, the new one with the tag still on it. And that came all the way from your mom, because she didn't give them no crap. She gave them the very best. And so I thank and praise God for them, the Everett and Jones family. Y'all keep on doing it. 50 more years, keep on helping people, because we need it, especially in the city of Oakland. Thank you very much.
He didn't talk long enough. He didn't talk long enough. One of the most powerful things that happened today was to hear from people who knew Uncle Hank and to tell their stories. So I'd like to, this is not on the program, I'd like to invite any of you who have an Everett and Jones story to come up and tell that story. It doesn't have to be right now. You can get your strength, get your courage. But if there's anyone who has an Everett and Jones story, something that, how it impacted you, uplifted you, fed your mind. Recently, Thelma Simmons died, one of our dearest sisters, friends of Faith, Faith Fancher, when she was struggling with cancer. And that was my first time back at Everett and Jones in a year. And the food was so good. I'm like, who's in the kitchen? It was so wonderful. Madam, I'd really like to start the panel too. It's important that we hear from all of these ladies about this history. We're seeing some beautiful pictures. And I asked her if she would also tell, it's like they're going by quickly, but who's that? Who's that? Who's that? So Shirley, would you tell us about some of the pictures that we see? Ellen. Okay, Ellen. And I'm going to ask you to take off your mask too, or lower it. Tell us what we're seeing.
Pictures of the barbecue pit. Pictures of the barbecue pit. But I want to say something about my family. My name is Helen Bellamy, Helen Everett Bellamy, and I'm telling everybody I'm 65 years old, and I am asking people to realize I'm 65, okay? I'm on Medicare, okay? When I started at the restaurant, we figured out I was 14. And the question that you just asked, what does the restaurant do for me other than give me a work ethic? I am a hard worker, and everything that I learned actually translated from what I did when I worked at the restaurant. Sometimes there's this attitude that working in a restaurant is the least of it, but you would be surprised how those skills translate. I predate computers, so that meant when we had customers, we had to learn how to add, okay? With a pencil and paper. And my my mother could add in her head, and she had a 5th grade education, okay? From the restaurant, because again, I predate computers, we had to have customer service. We can feed anybody because it's all about the attitude that you have. We have a great product. Tell the truth, shame the devil. I had barbecue yesterday. I had not been to the restaurant in a while, but I was in Berkeley yesterday, so I went by the barbecue pit. And as I walked in and I saw all of these young men working, did my heart, oh my God. I had the nerve, the gall, and the audacity not to introduce myself, but just to watch. To see what they were doing. How are they treating people who came into the restaurant? Because it is true, from my mouth to your ears, my mother told us we are to feed those who asked. It was never about whether or not you didn't have any money. We were to feed because it was about giving back. But we didn't understand that, because remember, we 14, we just got to work. But it became very important that the people who actually partook of the restaurant, they actually enjoyed it, that you know, I still deal with bleach in my house, okay? Cleanliness, organization, understanding how you actually go out and present yourself. I got that from the restaurant. You know how I work on computers now. I tell my daughter that the things that we had to do at the restaurant, here's a story for you. My mother's second grandchild, Yvette, she lives in North Carolina, and she will tell you she is the best employee because she realizes it was not about how do they say when you do little things, piecemeal work? At the barbecue pit, you had to do everything. That means that when you go into a business, you do everything. You're not looking for, that's not my job. It was my job to clean up. It was my job to get the wood, to put the garbage out, to make sure that the door was open. That was my job. And so therefore, when I work, I have to do everything. And it's expected. That's one of those skills that you learn when you're working at a restaurant. And I think that's what I want the young people here to really hear. There is value in your work. That is one of the things that, again, my mother helped me to understand. Pastor Barnes said it correct. When you know better, you do better. She had lots of little sayings that, okay, y'all, this is a good one. This is a good one. Okay, no, this is a really good one. Okay, you ready? Yeah. It is the holiday weekend. Remember, this is barbecue. We have Memorial Day, which is when we open. We have the 4th of July, and we got Labor Day. Think of barbecue, right? So, my job, being in the office, getting things ready. I always thought I was smarter than my mother, okay? I always thought I was smarter than her. So wait a minute. So we make our own links. We have to order the meat, have the meat delivered. It's a Friday. I got this. I got this. We're down at the restaurant on Fruitvale. The meat doesn't arrive. We got to make links. It's the holiday weekend. My mother comes in, and I'm panicking, and all she said to me was, "It's a mighty pole rat that only have one hole," and walked away. And I'm smarter than my mother. Oh, I don't even know what that means. What does that mean? It's a mighty pole rat that only have one hole. You better figure out another way to get it done. That was my mama. I don't remember, that was too many years ago. I don't remember what I did, but all I know is she walked away, and I've never forgotten that. Have your plan B when you're working in a restaurant. And at the restaurant, it was always about, you got enough sauce, you got the meat, you got the people coming, but you know, Murphy's Law always came in. That's where you better have another plan. You gotta have another plan. I have no idea. I'm 65 years old. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. I don't remember what happened. But apparently the restaurant, it did not close. It did not close. The barbecue pit used to open up. It's always opened at 11, but when we first started in 73, it stayed open till 5 o'clock in the morning. That's where the East Bay Dragons come in at. We used to stay open till 5 o'clock in the morning. Oh, I got another one for you. Wait. I got another one for you. This really did happen. This really did happen. Wait a minute. Y'all, this is my mother. This is my mother, okay? Okay, this is my mom, okay? Anyway, so what happened was, we used to be open 363 days, 365 days, 363 days a year. We were closed Christmas and Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving, Christmas. Well, I got this bright idea because we weren't busy the day after Thanksgiving or the day after Christmas, but we had to come to work. So I got my 2 younger sisters who were in Hayward, and we closed we didn't open the restaurant the day after the holiday, and we went and hid. So she couldn't find us. And then she found out we didn't open up the restaurant, and I called myself, I knew we were gonna get in trouble, because remember, I'm the ringleader doing this. Y'all just don't answer the phone. And then because she can't go open it, and so her best friend, and if you guys notice on the sauce, there's this lady named Cora the Angel. I called Miss Cora to tell Mama not to be mad at us because we didn't open up the restaurant. And Miss Cora said, oh, I'll talk to her. As soon as I finished getting to my mom and she talked bad to us, my mother didn't curse, but we were always afraid of our mom. That's why we hid. And when I finally talked to Miss Cora again, I said, Miss Cora, I thought you was gonna talk to Mama about this. She said, your mama my friend, not yours. So anyway, all of that to say that the restaurant, 50 years old, it is truly, who would have thought? Yeah. Who would have thought? I would have never, of course I didn't know better. But to be here, I had 7 sisters and 1 brother, and my brother is still alive. I've got 2 sisters now, and my other sisters are gone. But we had no idea that this is where we would be 50 years down. My mother always said, "But God." Yeah. But for the grace of God. Amen. I want you to really hear from my heart that, but God, this is nothing but our Father that has provided, that where it says that she just wanted for us to be fed. Well, he fed us, and he's continued to feed us, and we're in the next generation, which is giving all honor to God. Praise to him.
I'm the older sister. All right. My name is Shirley. I'm saucy sister number 4. I think it was San Francisco Chronicle that gave us that name. It was the 9th. I'm also the historian. I'm the family historian. So I got along with that. But San Francisco Chronicle gave us this name back in 1989, Saucy Sister. So I'm number 4. Number 6. Okay, and then, so we all had these shirts that had our name and Saucy Sister, and so that's how people would. I did, that's Saucy Sister number 4. Okay. About my mother. My mother used to play this song, We're Gonna Make It. It was like It was on repeat in our house. 2 songs. Please Come Home for Christmas, Charles Brown. That played from Thanksgiving to Christmas. On repeat, everybody knew that song, even the grandkids. The first song before the grandkids were born, Mom used to play this song, We're Gonna Make It, by Little Milton. And the words were, we may not have a cent to pay the rent, but we're gonna make it. We make beans every day, but we're gonna make it. That's all. No, it's she said when. And I know we're gonna. Yeah. So that song she played, and during the hard times, before the restaurant. And then, because Mom started on 7th Street in West Oakland at Jenkins Barbecue. Reverend Jenkins was the pastor of our church. And Mom worked in the restaurant. Mom was the first lady of our church. It was my daddy's church, King Chapel Missionary Baptist Church. And so, but she started at Jenkins Barbecue on 7th Street in West Oakland. I used to go down there and my job was to make potato salad for Jenkins Barbecue with my mom on her shift. Also season the meat, so that's when I got my training. You were too young. You were too young. But that's where I got my training. And then Mom went to Flint's. Mr. Willie, Mr. Freeman, Mom worked there, I worked there, you worked there. We hated going up them steps and the catering. We used to complain about the pit because it was too small. But Flint's, that's family. This is family. This is our cousins right here. So it's really funny. It's funny when people compare Flint's and Everett and Jones, and I constantly laugh that that's my family. They just don't know the history. Okay? And from Flint, when Mr. Flintworth died, is when Mom started there. That's when Mom started Everett and Jones. You're right. The East Bay Dragons. Oh my God. Mom used to tell us, I better not catch you in that clubhouse. As soon as she heard her back, we were in that clubhouse.
I was too young.
You go.
I was too young.
No, you weren't.
I was too young. That's right.
Go ahead, she just saying that for you. Yeah, she just said.
This is my husband,
Yeah.
Ben. He used to be our customer on 91st.
91st. Yeah. Well, story, because that's right. I met my husband at the barbecue. Great place to find a husband at the barbecue pit.
36 years.
36 years.
We've known each other for 48 years.
Yeah.
I was a baby, okay?
Yeah. But I do remember the opening week and being with the Dragons, and they're our family. They're our brothers because they really looked out for us. They protected us. They walked us to our cars. When some customer asked the food, we knock on that door.
Knock on that wall.
The Dragons would come over and handle it, right? So that's where our start came 92nd and East 14th Street. Yeah, 92nd. And then we went to Berkeley. And my mother used to tell the story. My mother, and after Berkeley had opened, because she was, that's 91st. That's when she met him. Yeah. No, that was 91st. The yellow one. Okay. 92nd, we were at 92nd for 3 years, and then we had a fire. We were all partying, we were celebrating the 3rd anniversary of Everett and Jones up in Mom's house. We got a call, the pit was on fire. We all go down there in our party dresses. The place was burned. Burned out the Dragons. Dragons hadn't moved down to 88, right? And so a year later, we moved to 91st. And the Dragons, we had a dragon sandwich that only the Dragons could get. This was a way of acknowledging that we were still family, even though we're a block, 2 blocks, 3 blocks apart. They were still part of our family, and we named this dragon. The sandwich was
A piece of bread with a link and some sauce
And some
on it,
sauce.
wrapped in a piece of paper. What did it cost, $1?
$1.
A dragon sandwich.
And only the Dragons could get it. Yeah, so, they are celebrating, their 60th or something anniversary, so they're really special to the Everett and Jones origin story, because that's what that is. Okay, so, right, it's just my other sister, the oldest one, Annie Pearl, she didn't make it here today. So you're right, there's 3 siblings left and my brother, 3 girls and my brother, out of the 9 siblings. So it was.
How many restaurants now?
Oh, girl. 5, 6, 4.
And
There's
one opening?
well, okay, one opened at Antioch, one opened at Graydon Casino. And Berkeley is still open, Jack London is still open, High Street is open, so y'all count. But over the years, Berkeley is the oldest one. Berkeley still has the original brick pit. Now see, don't get me started. See, I'm a barbecue. I love history and barbecue, and one of my pet peeves is how Black women are written out of the narrative for barbecue. And that's just my pet peeve. So the Berkeley pit still has its original brick pit. And there's a difference between cooking in a brick pit and one of them machines. Okay? There's, girl. Oh, my mother had a way, I guess she learned it from Jenkins, or then she took it to Flint's. She used to come in. There's a certain way she wanted her ribs laid in this brick pit. It has to be laid a certain way. Of course, when she left, we would tear it up.
We're smarter than her.
Yeah, we're smarter than her. I said, this don't make no sense. You know, it's just too much work. You got that arm, because you have to do everything by hand. But she had a way. No, the ribs go this way, and you got to turn them this way, and then you got to turn them another way, and then you got to turn them this way. I'm like, that's like four turns with this ribs, right? And so here we are. We go, I'm gonna change it like you. But then when she comes, because Mom would make surprise visits, first thing she do, go and open that pit. I told you not to do this. So I'm like, oh my God. But we want the next generation, we want to take it, we think we can do better. We don't understand why you protect the small land ribs.
Yeah.
Why? Right?
Lay it.
You lay it on top of it. Okay, so that's my mom. She,
The best.
yeah, the goat. Okay, she was there because from moms from Jenkins to Flint's to Carmen's. Carmen's used to work for us. Carmen brought me my wedding dress, okay? Carmen's not their granny, was the nanny to my son. We're family. Michelle, Nikki, Valerie, Margaret, we're all family. The community doesn't know that there is a community, a family in the barbecue industry in the Bay Area. We're family. And when I talk about how we all used to meet up at Harry's Meat Market on Market Street, Harry Ma, who was a Chinese American, supplied just about all the barbecue restaurants in the Bay Area. Right? And so in the mornings when we would have to go pick up the meat in our cars, we'd be in the back of his store, Flint's would be there, Carmen's would be there, Everett and Jones would be there, you know, and all the other, and we're just talking, having coffee, donuts, and then we go on to our businesses.
That was one of the things that Mom always told us.
Fairdale Meat Market, that's right.
Mom told us that there was enough in this community for everybody, and that we actually wanted more competition because competition keeps you on your toes. And you know, it was always her idea that, and just like Pastor Barnes said, it was all about more, as opposed to not necessarily fighting amongst ourselves, but there's enough for everybody. And you know, and that was important to her.
Is there anyone else who has some stories?
Ken has one.
Ken, you want to come up? Ken?
My name is Kenneth McGee. I'm doing the illustrations for Shirley's book that she's contacted me about. I met Shirley, I didn't know anything about Everett and Jones Barbeque. I was new to the Bay Area. Came back from Germany, living there for a number of years. I decided to move to the Bay Area. Anyways, one day, I was on Fruitvale Avenue, and I was at a supermercado, and I was looking across the street at this, what appeared to be a boutique, and had a bunch of watermelons and Jim Crow imagery in the windows. And that just really got me fired up. I said, I gotta talk to that person. Because I didn't know what was going on there. I was insulted, essentially. The moment that I stepped through the door, it just all made sense to me. And I met Shirley. And we forged a relationship to the point where she told me one day, I have this crazy idea. And that means we're going to go back to DC for Barack Obama's inauguration. And so the whole lore, or at least as much as I knew back then, Everett and Jones came to my knowledge. So from that point on, I've been doing lots of projects with her, using my art skills, and up to this point, I'm working on the book, and I'm very honored to know Helen, who went on the trip with us back to DC, and yeah, I'm just happy and honored to know them, and that's my story.
Bravo. Everybody has something to bring to the party. Every one of us. Anyone else? Got an Everett and Jones story? Oh, the husband.
Yes. So I met my wife at Everett and Jones, I think it was, she says it's 76, I say it's 75. So anyhow, I got with her, the night, in fact, the night that, I was still dating her, the night that, that the barbecue pit, burned down. So I was at that party with her. So I got indoctrinated into the family. And so we get indoctrinated, and of course I end up working for the family. So now I'm getting work like a Hebrew slave. So, you know, and you know, pay was, you know, you family, so, you know, you get paid last. You don't get paid first. You have to wait till everybody, all the other people that's working get paid, and then you get paid. That's the way it was back then. But anyhow, I had told my wife, I says, hey, listen, this ain't gonna last. You know, this ain't gonna work. You know, you guys are, you know, come on, this ain't gonna go. This ain't gonna fly. You know, people ain't barbecue them. This ain't gonna work. You know, I don't want you chopping ribs, you know, blah, 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 blah. So I'm gone. Well, time goes on. I don't work for the business. I became a bus driver. And then 20 years celebration comes up. So I said, wait a minute. I said, this thing is going longer than I thought. So I had to stand up at the 20-year anniversary, and I just picked me a crow out there, and I ate crow. And I ate a lot of crow on the 20-year anniversary. So now we're at the 50. And I don't have nothing else to say no more. I keep my mouth shut now. Because obviously, you know, somebody bigger than me got a hand in this. So I know, you know, Bishop Barnes, I ended up at his church through my mother-in-law and other members of her family. He is the one that gave my life to Christ. Yes. He's the one that changed my life. Amen. And I'll always remember him. But it came through this. So I really feel that as we go into the third generation, like we said, my nephew just opened up a great casino. My son is working there. You know, other people in the family are there. So I can see it moving a little bit, and it's going to go in a different direction. It's not going to be what is hard and labor intensive, but it will survive. And here's the real kicker. We had a daughter, and we have a son too, but we have a daughter, and she's more like my mother-in-law than this woman is like her mama. I had to work with my daughter. My daughter has opened up a e-business in New York. We didn't want her to be in no kind of food business or nothing. She chose it on her own. But now that I had a chance to be around her, I can see her style is a lot similar to my mother-in-law more than this one and her aunties. But she's taken it up a step. She was just on TV a few weeks ago. So she made it to CBS. She talking
Say
to
her
give
name.
Azariah Bellamy. Yes. Azariah Bellamy. And she's going to that point. So we're looking at other members of our family that are still young, that are going to probably do things in this business. But I'm very proud to be a part of this family. It can be such a headache sometimes, but, you know, but I'm very proud and I love them all. So that's it.
What a blessing. Okay, I'm going to tell my little story here. So, several things. I have friends. I started meeting in Nashville, Tennessee. Spent a year at Fisk University. And met a brother who was then working at the Tennessee Banner, and he had just come back from Columbia journalism school, and he was working at the newspaper. And he says, you know, you really need to go into broadcasting. I said, so he said, I have some people I want you to meet. He introduced me to Faith Fancher. She was just starting. Sister named Oprah Winfrey. Another sister named Pam Ice. Oprah was working at the local radio station, historic black radio station. So Oprah got a job offer at the television station. So Reggie Stewart said, Ricky, I want you to take Oprah's job at the radio station. I was like, I can't do that. She said, just come with me 2 weeks. Come hang out with me at the radio station, and then I'll show you what to do. I went for 3 days. Next day I got there, a note from Oprah, you on your own. 8 months later, I was in New York. Dreams, prayers, spiritual guidance, the guidance of not just your parents, but Uncle Hank and everyone in the community. That's what shapes everything, that should be what shapes everything we do. Obviously, it did for your family too. Why am I telling you about Reginald Stewart? Because there's so many connections. Reggie remember Bob Maynard? Remember Mr. Maynard, the first black to have, the first black publisher of a major daily newspaper? Mr. Maynard and his wife lived in New York, and when I was in New York, they were moving, and they had a bad apartment on Central Park West, and they were like, oh, okay, Ricky, you can have the apartment next, we're moving. Yeah, I didn't know they were watching. You never know who's watching you. Teach your children. You never know who's watching where you're going. You never know that Carlton Goodlett, who I never met in the Bay Area, but I met him in New York, that Mr. Goodlett said, I've been watching you. I've been listening to you. Let me go back to the purpose of the story. So Reggie used to come out when there was the Maynard Institute. Reginald Stewart was then New York Times, powerful reporter. He was bureau chief in Atlanta, and Reggie used to come out to the Bay Area, and for a while he would stop on the way, well, maybe going back to New York, to Washington. He would stop at Gates Barbecue. And then one time I said, you don't have to do that. And I took him to Everett and Jones. And he was like, this is great. I'll never have to go to Gates again. No disrespect to Gates, but he was like, this is some excellent barbecue. And then he'd go back, I don't know how he did it, but he would usually, from Gates, he'd get a big thing of barbecue and the sauce, and then have it sent back to, he lived in Washington, have it sent back. I'm sure he did it when he's here in the Bay Area. So, again, you never know who's watching you. You never know how just one little turn can change something. Is there anyone else who has a story? Yes, would you please come up? Oh, wait, she got a barbecue t-shirt. Uh-oh.
Real quick.
Oh, you're with Casey?
I am. Hello.
Can you go over here?
I can. Hopefully all my lipstick is not everywhere.
Tell us your name.
Hello, everyone. Hi. Hi. Apologies for being tardy. Okay. Let's see. Hi everyone, my name is Kristen Davis and I'm the third generation owner operator of Casey's Barbecue and Burger. So I don't have a huge speech. I don't have a lot of one-on-one experience working with Everett and Jones, but I know my family has a lot of history. And I just want to say thank you for being loud and paving the way. Just because, I have my grandfather, he's still here, he made 90 last year. And he still will not get out of the kitchen. But I just want to appreciate you all, congratulate you on 50 years of business, and growing and flourishing. It's so important to be seen and to be heard out here because there's so many people that are emulating what we've created. So I just appreciate that, and I'm glad to be here and be seen. My name is Kristen, and Patrick Davis is my father, and Burnell Davis Sr. is his father and my grandfather.
Wow. So, look at this. This is Women in Barbecue in the Bay Area. Where is it? Got Florence, KC.
Oh, we're located on Gilman and San Pablo in Berkeley.
And how long have you been in business?
So we, this year, will be celebrating 55 years.
Hi, my name is Crystal Martin. I'm the youngest granddaughter of Willie Flintwood, who started Flint's Barbecue here in Oakland in 1968. Like Kristen just said, I don't have a lot of stories, with Everett and Jones. I did know that your mother started with my grandfather, and Shirley called me and asked me to be a part of this event, and I told her I would be honored to. So congratulations again. I have a story about how I got into the business. Also with potato salad. That's my only memory of Flint's when they were open, going with my mom and running around the back kitchen and peeling potatoes. Unfortunately, grandfather had already passed before I was born. I was born in 1979. So doing the business, when they all closed, I used to ask my mom, we're just gonna leave them closed? You should reopen it. She said, no, baby, that's too much work. So then I would ask my siblings, don't you want to reopen it? And they no. So I'm one day I'm gonna reopen it. So as an adult, I decided to reopen it. My sister, who worked at the San Pablo location, helps me a lot. Unfortunately, we haven't been able to get back into one of the 3 previous locations or open a new one. So we do pop-ups and catering events for now. And I just want to say thank you for allowing us to be here today.
Can I say, during our 20th anniversary, 1993. Okay. Yeah. 1993. We came up with the idea to start a barbecue Hall of Fame. So we came up with this idea in 1993. We inducted Reverend Jenkins and Fairdale Meat Market. Today we are inducting Florence and Chris and Casey Barbecue and Carson Barbecue. I think it's about time we women need to step up, step out, and show these men. Who do you think taught y'all how to cook? So again, don't let me start with my head because I'll just go off. So we have something for you guys, okay?
Do you have it?
Yes.
Do you want me to?
She'll get it.
Flint's sister, would you like to sit up here?
Oh, no, I'm fine.
Crystal, I seems like we did on Instagram or something. It couldn't have been Instagram, must have been Facebook or something. Because
I talked to your daughter on Instagram and then she might have connections.
Anyway, her grandfather taught me how to drive. That story, I always say that because Mr. Willie, my God, my God, he was such a wonderful man.
Yes, it was.
And he was just so nice to us. Because my mother, if you can imagine, my mother had all of these girls and she needed to feed us. And he was there to help her. Wow. And I can repeat the story that she was at Jenkins and he went looking for that fabulous cook.
Yep.
And she likes to tell it that he was talking to her when he was talking about that fabulous cook. And so she left Jenkins, who was our pastor, and went and worked at Flint's, and then I went and I worked at Flint's. And I was 14, and it had to be 14, because I burned down Flint's, okay? I was the one working there, and I was the one that burned it down. My mama used to say, you left that baby down there, that's why it got burned down. Because we actually, on the brick pits, you cook with fire.
Yeah.
It's real fire, okay? So, you know, some people, pyromaniacs, it wasn't me. I still got issues with fire today. So, but, you know, I have such warm memories of your grandfather. I mean, he was just such a wonderful man. I cannot stop saying that because the truth is what, that really did happen.
Yeah, and my story, he bought me some suede boots. He really did.
He was
really nice, really nice. So, Christian, we have a plaque for you. Go. There you go. Look at that.
And you want to say? Read what it said.
Oh, read what?
I promise I went to school, y'all, but I'm nervous. This certificate is proudly presented to Kristen Patrice Davis. The Bay Area Barbecue Hall of Fame awards Kristen Patrice of Casey's Barbecue for her outstanding contribution to the rise and the prominence of Bay Area barbecue on the national scene.
Crystal Joy Martin.
Come on, Kristen. Come on, baby. Come on. That's nice.
Bay Area Barbecue Hall of Fame. This certificate is proudly presented to Crystal Joy Martin. The Bay Area Barbecue Hall of Fame awards Crystal Joy Martin of Flint's Barbecue for her outstanding contribution to the rise and the prominence of Bay Area barbecue on the national scene.
This is from Margaret.
Is that your grandfather on your,
Yes. Yes. So,
Cousin Carla is always so right on time. This is when I was going, she's my Oklahoma cousin. This is when I was going to say, I'd like to open this up. 4 o'clock, we have a little bit more time. I'd like to open this up to the audience. Let me tell you why. You're probably wondering, well, what's the significance? We know locally, but you don't know the national impact. There are others who have deemed themselves the king of barbecue, the kings of barbecue. They don't know how to barbecue. I've tasted some sauce and I'm like, what? Okay, they need to know some more people. We have to promote who we are, what we've done, others who have succeeded. No one else is going to do that. No one else is going to do that. So I'm looking forward to, Ken, I'm looking forward to this book that you all are working on. Yes. I'm looking forward to the movie. There should be a black barbecue reporter that goes to every, I used to have to go and taste different food. I would be like, ooh, what? There should be someone, you know, now we have Eva Longoria and she's doing the Mexican, South American, and somebody else is going to Italy. We need to promote what we do so well. We come from a Stevenson family. We have barbecue restaurants in our family in Oklahoma, but y'all don't know about them. We need to talk about these things. We need to have books. We need to have movies. We need to have daily shows, all that sort of thing. And most importantly, when you go someplace, say, where's the black barbecue restaurant? Wherever you go in the world, I can tell you where there are 3 or 4 in Oakland, 5, 6, one about to be 7, about to be 6. We have to, I won't say demand, but we have to let others know that we want our history. We want the best. If you don't ask for it, you won't get it. Okay, I'm gonna shut up again. Questions, comments from the audience. Oh yeah, we do have a quiz, but we're gonna do that in a moment. If any of you have questions now, come on. No one has a question? Yes.
We had wanted to know some of the names of the people on the screen here that was being presented. I'm not loud enough?
No.
That's Shirley.
That's Shirley, okay.
Shirley, not Shirley. Shirley, that's Shirley.
Okay.
This is our.
So can you tell us some more of the people who are on the screen?
Dr. Katie, Mama, Angie, May, Pearl, that's Pearl.
That's the Jones, Everett and Jones.
Everett and Jones. She's still with us, she just didn't come. That's Precious.
That's
Precious. That's
Where's
Precious.
Precious?
And this is Shamar, he's out in Green, we're in front of the barbecue pit.
That's a Jack London thing.
This is my son right there with doing like this, that's my son.
Oh, okay.
Okay, that's me. That's Yvette and LaShawn.
Pearl's kid.
And this picture down there, that's the oldest picture of us at our restaurant in 90, is that 91st, 93rd? I'm always confused.
73rd, that was 1973, 92nd Avenue.
That's Pastor Barnes.
Right.
That's Pastor Barnes. And LaShawn and Yvette, this is the oldest granddaughter. These are our sisters that are no longer with us. Katie, Virginia's the oldest. Angie was the baby. Katie, they were underneath me. And our brother Alan. Shirley did, you guys come up to me afterwards, I'll tell you about what Shirley can do, okay? No, seriously, this is her calling.
Yes.
This is, I mean, she's always been this artistic. You know, dragging us. You didn't talk about when we went over to the Golden Gate Bridge. Oh my gosh. You talk about, the barbecue pit is hard work. Don't play that. This is hard work. Okay. I mean, it is.
1987.
Her idea.
Golden Gate Bridge, 50th anniversary. Chrissy Fields, 800,000 people when the bridge sank. We were out there during there 24 hours selling barbecue non-stop.
I don't do caterings no more.
Because of that.
That's hard work.
That is right.
We worked I mean, it was amazing.
But it
my
never
goodness.
is.
That was when Mom, you know, like when you go to festivals, you want a lot of different booths. Because just imagine if you had to feed all them people. You won't help. So y'all, you gotta get together.
No, the trick was we worked in shift.
What's this picture?
Yeah, what's this? That's one, this is Choctaw County, Alabama. That's my grandmother. My mother's mother is back.
Really?
Maybelle Gandy. Yeah. She didn't have glasses. This is Essence in 1982. They came, to the Berkeley restaurant. Yeah. Essence again.
Roner Park.
Yeah, this is, you guys know we were out there at Barbecue While Black, right? When you know, that incident. Yeah.
Oh, when she said, there are black people out here. And they're barbecuing.
That was amazing that the whole community came out and had a community barbecue.
John Madden.
John Madden. We used to.
Too short.
Too short, E40.
Who was the one at the end?
Helen.
Who else?
Oh, that was, what's his name? Is it Rick? No. Rick. I want to say Rick Ross.
Oh, Rick Ross? Yeah, what year that was? Fruitvale, that's Fruitvale.
Oh,
There it is, Saucy Sisters. This is the first restaurant opening.
92nd?
92nd. 92nd is now a post office there. Yeah.
That's what I get from the restaurant. It's hard.
It is hard.
The other day, I was trying to open up a bucket that the sauce used to come in. I'm like, I used to have the strength to do that. I used to be able to do that.
One of our customers is 92nd. 92nd.
That looked like Angie in the background.
Berkeley.
How old? She's got 2 kids. She got 3 kids now. This baby, she got 3 kids.
That's Virginia Jones.
Oh yeah, Jones. That was Jones, Everett and Jones.
Jones
Had
is
one sister married at the time.
Right. So that's how he came in. But Jones made the best wings.
Hot.
Hot wings.
That's Terrell. That's May. These are her children. She's the one that passed away in 2021. Back down memory lane. Our future. Our future. He's so
Anti-stress kids, bang your head.
Berkeley.
Berkeley and great.
I called Terrell yesterday to tell him I'm telling somebody that Lynx was screaming. And I didn't have no sauce on him. I'm telling him. And I took the meat off the bone and it didn't have any sauce on it. So I'm telling. Somebody's doing what they're supposed to be doing.
That's Fruitvale. That's the opening of Fruitvale. And that's Carmen's little daughter. She was there.
Michelle was in there?
Yeah, she was in there. Michelle now runs Carmen's Barbecue in Everett.
Wow.
And that was her in the picture.
Everett Jones, grand opening.
That's Fruitvale.
Number 3. So save your
91st.
That was Jones's car.
Look, down in the back, sunroof top, I get to sing with a gangster lady.
That's me. Becoming African.
That's 91st.
African.
That's Virginia,
That's
the
Birdie.
oldest.
And that's Pierce.
And that's
He came from Jenkins.
Pierce is supposed to be
Oh my
Willie's
God.
cousin.
Whose cousin?
Mr. Willie.
Grandfather.
Yeah, Pierce.
your
Oh
cousin.
my God.
Was that his first name or last name?
I don't know, it's Mr. It's
First
Pierce
name
or
or
Peyton.
Peyton Pierce.
Hey, okay, I'll talk to my mom.
Peyton
See
Pierce.
if she okay.
We have the fort in Berkeley.
Uh-huh.
It's about this long. He made it.
Okay.
I remember that.
Peyton Pierce, all right.
Peyton Pierce.
I'll let my mom.
This used to be, this was on Clay Street. Remember it was an all-you-could-eat barbecue buffet? Y'all remember that day? Yeah, that was it.
Pastor, remember Mother Young used to fry the chicken
Oh,
for
yeah,
us?
yeah, yeah.
That's
yeah.
where she was frying that chicken.
Wow. Well, you all take care.
This is Hayward. 8th Street in Hayward.
Bishop.
Take care of you, I gotta go. Love y'all much.
Bye, Pastor.
Hayward.
Hayward with the glass.
Hayward in the backyard.
That's the pit. We had another fire in
That's your
Hayward.
mom or your mom?
That's Helen.
We had a fire in the restaurant. Again!
Tell them, Tell them. This is the concessions at the Coliseum. In 1993, we went to the Coliseum. So we did the A's, the Warriors, the Raiders, concerts.
Russell?
Yep. And that's my brother, man in the grill.
One of the things that we were so very proud of is that who works for us?
This is the Sharks. This is the San Jose Arena.
But we
I learned to love hockey. I didn't know anything about it. This is the Barbecue Hall of Fame. This is the dinner, that was the tasting, that was in 1993. So I always say, we were the first to have a Barbecue Hall of Fame. Right. That one in Kansas City, that didn't start to 2011. Okay? Okay, women did this. And, oh, there's a tidbit I needed to tell. The Memphis in May barbecue contest. The first person to win that contest was a black woman named Bessie. It's in my notes over there. I'm like, they don't tell you that. It was a black woman who won that contest. Oh, that's great.
That's the fifth one, greatness the fifth?
I lost count. Because we're gonna have a quiz. We're gonna have a quiz, and who gets the right answer gets some sauce. Okay?
Pay attention.
Pay attention.
Faites attention.
Y'all want to get good questions? That's me with Shamar. Anyhow.
Oh, wow. When will that be open?
It is open.
Oh, it's open now.
Okay, this is the book. This is a sneak peek book that I'm writing on the family. We're going to be giving some of those copies away if you get the right answer during the barbecue quiz. And that's my brother with all his sisters. And my mom.
Back to the beginning.
Yeah. All right.
You're open questions again. Yes, Ann Williams. You know, there's some amazing people in this audience today. I have to acknowledge it. Joyce Gordon's art gallery. Joyce did the Queens of Barbecue exhibition 2 weeks, 3 weeks, oh, the birthday. Joyce, would you stand up? And the G's Been Quilt exhibition. That is closing. If you have not seen it, you have another week to go to Joyce Gordon Art Gallery at 14th and Harrison. Franklin, okay. Okay. Don't mind me. Don't leave her off now. And to see the G's Been quilts. And interestingly enough, in 1994, I did remember I'm a travel reporter, and did a story on the Alabama Black History Trail and went to Selma, Montgomery, all these different places, Africa Town, and G's Been. And just since we've been talking about it, since that evening that I was at your art gallery, Joyce, I've learned that the French king gave that land initially in the 1700s. It's in Gee's Bend, Alabama. It's nothing. It's swamp, essentially. Gave that to the not enslaved black people who were hooked up with the Native Americans because Africans, because it was swampy, it had mosquitoes. And the French were dying. So they said, give it to the black people. They're hanging out with the Native Americans, plus they don't seem to be affected by it. Why? That should be one of the quiz questions. Why? But think about it. Should that be one of the... And what did we have that the whites did not have? Sickle cell that protected us against malaria. Amazing. Amazing.
It didn't protect me when I was in Cameroon. I came down with malaria. So I'm like, maybe I didn't have enough.
Many generations
removed from that. I'm like, wow.
And as I put the, she did an amazing job with the graphics and creating things for us to put on Facebook. And the journalists who've been in my life, who, I don't know if you all remember Pearl Stewart. Yeah, Pearl Stewart, who left Oakland and went on to go to Rochester, New York, and be the first black woman publisher of a major daily newspaper. And Pearl said to say, on her behalf, congratulations. She remembers the taste so well. And she hung out with your mom. Everybody, the people who were in my group, the journalists, they were like, oh, we hung out with Miss Dorothy. I was like, well, how come I didn't hang out with her? But they remember your mother lovingly as being this wonderful person. So, you want to go to the, question? Oh, Carla?
Yes, I'm nosy.
Cousin Carla?
I'm nosy. I saw on the screen.
Curious.
Okay, curious if it wants to be nice. I saw that it had Choctaw County. Is that where your family roots stem from?
Yeah.
Okay.
Mom,
Yes.
okay. I used to interview my mom and my family. They would always say, here she comes with that camera. So I sat her down one time and I interviewed her. And I couldn't understand, because one time she would say, I'm from Mississippi.
Woods, Alabama.
Or she would say, I'm from Alabama. And I'm like, what? She said, it was on the line. You know the line. You step over, you in Mississippi, you step over, you in Alabama. So I didn't understand. So she always said Choctaw County, Alabama. And we have family there now who they have a family reunion every August. So we plan on going there to see where my mom grew up. But she came here in 1952 with the three older sisters through the bus station, the train, with my three sisters, and my dad came first. I lived on Brush Street, because that's what my birth certificate says. 517 Brush Street, which is now under the freeway, no longer there. So, yeah, Choctaw County, Alabama.
So Native American in there somewhere, or just?
You know what? Don't get us started. Oh my God. We have the matron of our family who is 88 years old, and I also take a camera and go take her stories. When I got her story, she said, there is a Native American in our family. I'm still trying to find it. We did DNA testing, but she remembers the grandmother. So, I don't know yet.
Thank you.
Yes, dear.
Just want to congratulate all of you for your accomplishments and contribution to our history here. I grew up just down the street from Poplar. And so this building, my brother and I couldn't come into this building.
Why?
We're black. Hello.
What?
So that's how far back. Fast forward to, let's say, the sixties, my father had a used furniture store in that building just across the street. Wow. So he left his job at the Oakland Naval Supply, and he having an entrepreneurial spirit, just as your mother, just as my brother, who ended up being a master tailor and designer. So just floods of memories are going through my head right now. I recall we used to go to Reno after my shift at Corrales Hospital to go up to gamble $20. But we'd stop at KC Barbecue to take our little lunch up the road. And then one very moving thing that happened when my mother passed in 2003, the village people, one of the members of the village people, came to Oakland to my mother's service. And he stopped at Everett and Jones down on Broadway. While there, I think Dorothy, bless her heart, came over and asked, well, why are you here? And he said, well, Ann's mother passed. Next thing I know, at her repast, which was at my house, Dorothy calls and she says, do you all need any food? And I was taken aback. Next thing I know, here comes a van, great big platters of barbecue. And people are like, barbecue at a repast? I said, yeah. And I mean, not just barbecue. Dorothy said greens, the whole menu, trays and trays of it in honor of my mother. Added recognition for all of you. On 7th Street near the BART station, there's a plaque, you know, you've heard of it, for Everett and Jones, near my brother's plaque. His first newspaper route was on 7th Street. So it's like full circle here. Thank you so much.
Ann Williams is not going to tell you all of it, but I just have a question. And because we have so many young people here, are you saying that in the 50s and 60s, black people in Oakland could not come into this building?
This was an office building.
Do you hear that? We've come an amazingly far way. We've come a long way.
And the same thing goes for, which is now Jeffrey's. You pass by the old white men's club with fear, you know. And there was someone standing at the door saying, you cannot come in. So fortunately,
Why this is so important for you young people to hear is because they will make you believe that never existed. And you always have. And guess what? Then when they pull the rug out from under you, you won't realize it. Hold on to what you have. Hold on. Oh, the story today. There was a black woman who owned a whole bunch of land down near Stanford University. This had to be in the 40s and 50s. She was not married, never had children. When she died, Stanford had it. Stanford is built on land that was owned by a black woman. Do you understand what happens when we don't hold on to what we have? When you don't fight for what you have? When you don't make your businesses generational?
That's it.
I'm gonna stop. Where shall I go next? We're just a little bit after 4. No one else has questions? I just have to say this about Ann Williams.
Y'all were partying with me in Dock of the Bay, remember? Remember, we thought, oh, these brilliant black men have. Ann Williams was one of the major stakeholders in Dock of the Bay. And she stayed here. She has stayed here. I love you, Ann. No more questions? Please. You're not going to have an opportunity like this ever again. Nothing? Come on. Yes, ma'am. Come on up.
Can I stay here? That's okay.
You want the microphone?
Sure. Good afternoon to all of you. My name is Jocelyn. My husband Carl is here with me. My young adult people that I gave birth to a long time ago are here with us, and there are no coincidences. We're from the East Coast. He lives on the West Coast. But years ago I met Ricky in Paris, and she took us on this fabulous tour in Paris, and I had a whole new sense of pride of our contributions, not just here. I knew that we built our country here, but also the contributions of how we built Paris, how we built England, how we, it filled me with such a sense. And then several years back, I'm a biochemist, and I worked for a company that was collaborating with UC Davis. So I was in the Bay Area, and of course I wanted to spend the day in the Bay Area, and then I came over later to Oakland, and I got hungry, and there are no coincidences. Got hungry and stopped at this place and got some really good food, some barbecue food. And I believe that it was your establishment that I stopped in, and I was going by GPS before I started heading towards the Davis area, Davis, California area. And then this lovely woman here posted that she was going to be hosting this event today. And I'm like, oh my God, I haven't seen you since the early 2000s, but here we are again. But again, there are no coincidences, because black women are doing, can I curse? I won't curse. Black women are doing it everywhere. We're doing it everywhere. And of course, I don't know if someone spoke, working in a restaurant, that's whatever. When you're feeding your community, you're feeding the genius of your community, somebody that is hungry or someone that needs something that's nutritious. You're not just feeding that person, you're feeding your community, and you should take pride in that. Some of the best things that I have ever ingested, came from the hands of black women. And I'm just so proud of the business. I don't know you personally, but you could be my aunt, you could be my sister, you could be my grandmother, my auntie, but what you built is tangible. You can taste it. It builds muscle. You're not just handing out water and bread. You're feeding. All of you have fed your community, and it is a big deal. It is a huge deal, and I'm appreciative of just being able to participate today, to listen, to learn. Again, I'm here and I'm overfilled with a sense of pride for what you all have accomplished. It's no small feat, and I'm just really glad to be here today. Thank you. Congratulations.
I have to acknowledge 2 more of my babies. Well, actually 3. My daughter, Dee Dee Stevenson Bailey. Come on, you guys stand up. My nieces, Zetha, there's so many of them. Nobles, who worked. Didn't you work for TJ, Miss TJ?
I did.
Zephyr, you did? Zephyr, stand up.
Ayana, stand up. I'm sorry, baby. I'm so shocked to see her here today. Have you been in the Bay Area all the time?
I have, and you brought me out today.
Let me take your mask down, baby. You do what?
You brought me out today. You was like, Auntie Ricky's gonna be there. I said, yeah. Okay, I'm going. What time we gonna be there?
You all remember my mentor, my brother and sister, Wade and Vera Nobles, the historians, the African American sociologists, historians, and these are their babies, but my babies too. And they babysat my baby. And Zetha is the one who worked for Miss TJ. Remember the gingerbread house? Yeah. I'm telling you, when I lived in New York, everybody who came, and I do it too with you all, everyone who came from New York, Arthur Mitchell, Judith Jameson, whoever was coming to the Bay Area, I'm like, they'd be like, can we get together? Yeah, we're gonna go over to the gingerbread house. And then sometimes I said, we'll do barbecue. We have to support each other. My daughter is the one that makes me consistent. Mom, we're going to the black restaurant. I'm trying not to eat meat. But they have other things we can eat too. Zetha, you have anything you want to say? Ayana, you have anything? Come on, baby.
Oh, you can make her
Yeah. Or lower your big D. Come on now.
So, I grew up in Oakland, and I was just reflecting back on that and barbecue, since we're here today for this. I really appreciated and enjoyed that there were so many barbecue selections in Oakland when I was growing up. Now, I would have to say that my absolute favorite was Flint's. Flint's right on Market Street, from Cowboy right there. And I was so disappointed, but absolutely my favorite. And then for Everett and Jones, thank y'all for staying and being in Oakland and having space for us to congregate, party, eat, drink, and have a good time. Thank you guys, and for you guys who have been inducted, congratulations.
More time for questions. We call her the twins, even though she just won, but her twin is in here right now. Oh, you love her mask? Yeah, she's got Paris in her mouth.
I just want to say congratulations to everybody. It's just historical. It really is. And my senior center, one of the best in Oakland, East Oakland Senior Center. All right. They took us to Brighton on a field trip. I won a little money, but we was waiting for the food court because Everett and Jones is out there.
Yeah.
And we were like, wow, first time a real black authentic food stand, barbecue. And when we lined up, that was the longest line in the whole casino. The longest line. And the food was good. And I appreciate you guys for more exposure, because we do need that. And congratulations.
Questions?
Okay, Mima. Yeah, just
Make it up.
you know the history.
All right.
Helen has a question.
You got a question?
Question?
Yes, yes.
All right, I'm gonna start off because I see my baby Isha was up here. What sport did Everett and Jones have for the young people? Your hand was up first, you know? You know? Huh? Oh, she said, they both said, that you wanted to? Softball, super cute. And they fed the kids, once again, all the kids at Greenman Field, so give it up, yes.
Go get some sauce.
You got the sauce.
You got mild?
This is the one that is mild.
What day is
You want hot? You want hot? Okay, just to show. Mild, this one's the one that's medium, it's got the yellow top, and the red top is
All right, she got the hot sauce. All right. What kind of wood is used? Now y'all wasn't listening? That's why it's good to listen. They done told you earlier, what kind of wood do they use? No.
Is it chicory?
No. Chicory, what's chicory, baby? Chicory, dickory, dock. Nope, not mesquite. Oh, I heard it. Oh, yes, oak. Give me your brother right here, got the oak.
It's April 30th.
He got the sauce. All right.
congratulations.
So what you do is
Now, earlier, I said the nickname for the Fruitvale. What was the name of it? Yes. The three little pigs, huh? Now, why they call, that's the history.
Okay, there were 2 locations on Fruitvale. You didn't know that? There was one on East 14th Street, and the pit was so little, we called it the 3 Little Pigs. Blow pit down. So that's
All right.
right, it's on Fruitvale.
3 little pigs, all right.
So she gets some sauce.
You get some sauce. All right, get the sauce. All right.
Mild.
Congratulations.
All right, let's see if y'all was listening. How many saucy sisters is it?
8.
8, all right now. And 1 brother, huh? All right. What is the original owner's name of Flint? Boom. Boom.
It was Willie, wasn't it?
Yeah. She got it. Willie. All right.
Who won that?
Oh, she got it.
I would win, so I'll take mine.
You take mine, okay.
Cousin Carla? They know what.
There you go. Hey, we're in good company.
All right. Now I got a question. Flint and KC Barbecue, they opened up the same year. Who can guess the year that they opened up?
68.
Oh, good year. See? All right. Old Town to Old Town.
That's the one I always go to. Yeah, that was the first one. That was from San Francisco. That's the only place we went. That was devastating.
All right. See if y'all was listening. Who is the grandfather of the Bay Area barbecue?
Grandfather.
We said his name today. Yeah, there you go. Jenkins. Mr. Jenkins.
No,
That was Reverend
Jenkins.
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 It's Reverend
Was there a
Jenkins.
Slim Jenkins?
Yep.
Yeah, but that's
That's
not
where
what
my parents partied.
Yep.
They were dating.
But it was Reverend Jenkins. Was the
Okay, them 2 different ones, huh?
And which would you like? Mild.
Mine. All right. All right. Okay. What year did Jack London open?
Huh?
You can't. You cheat. Niece, what you say, niece?
1999.
All right, give it up for the niece guys. Go ahead. What I want to say. Oh, you come on now, Crystal. Help me out, thank you, Crystal. I'm up there just banking.
When and where is the next time you can taste Flint's barbecue?
April 30th on Shannon. 1 to 5 o'clock.
All right.
Go online.
April 30th. April 30th, where's that? Where's that?
It's at Certified Kitchens in Berkeley, but you can go to our website, which is originalflintbbq.com.
All right.
That's all in the business.
Y'all go ahead and show up there. Go ahead.
I know.
All right.
Get your sauce.
Go get some of that sauce. Any more, let me think. I'm coming.
Which one would you like?
Mine.
Who can name, hope y'all can help me, all the Everett and Jones that's currently open right now?
What did you say?
They get 2 dollars.
That's the question. You got to. He got it.
I know.
Grown up part.
Y'all tell me right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can raise your hand.
University.
Keep going, go 3.
Don't tell. Y'all don't tell.
Help me out. Ray, no, use his lifeline. Let him use his lifeline.
Oh, lifeline.
Use his lifeline. So we have Graydon, we have Berkeley, we have Jack London, we have High Street, we have Antioch, and yeah, that's what Berkeley.
It's 5.
That's 5?
That was all of them.
That's 5. All right, give it to him. He used his lifeline. He won it.
Great parade.
I have a question. Can you name the 8 sisters?
Because I'll say
Virginia. Okay.
Dorothy.
Virginia.
I got 3.
Okay,
Sarah.
And then got it.
I got it.
You got 6. There's 8. Yeah. Okay, who can name the 8 sisters?
Katie.
That's still only 7.
all right, come on, give him one more.
Come on.
Angie.
You got it.
Sarah.
in order.
Put them in order. Oh, okay. Okay, now put them in order.
Oh, no.
Name the first sister. The first sister, Virginia. Second sister, Annie. Third sister, Dorothy. Fourth, well, she here. The fifth sister. The fifth, who said it? Mary. The sixth, Helen. Seventh, Katie. The Angie.
Wow.
Okay.
You got it.
Got the brother.
Isha was telling her.
That's all. That's her lifeline. Who know the name of
No, you already have one.
What is the brother?
Y'all take your picture.
George
Allen. Yeah.
And then she told me, see, she did.
Alright, so it's
So Santa.
That's it. Okay, so look, all of those who didn't win, go get your sauce. We like Oprah. You get the sauce, you get sauce, you get sauce. Everybody gets sauce.
And she's not playing. She's not playing. We'll ask that everyone come up, and if you'd like to, you can have the honor of songs. Oh, and you can take some pictures, not right now, but they'll be taking pictures in the back. I thank you on behalf of the Black Women in Barbecue, amazing all of them, and the sisters of Everett and Jones, Casey, Carmen, Flint. We thank you. I thank all of you for being here and for knowing and loving our history. Ask questions, be curious. That's where you get your information. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody. Don't forget, membership. Membership has privileges, VIP privileges. I got my vice president back there, the president, got the hospitality chair back there. I got the parliamentarian back there, waiting for you. And you can take an application with you, mail it in, or drop it by AAMLO. When you drop it by AAMLO, ask for me. I'd love to talk to you. Okay? Thank you so much. Continue the celebration. Be safe.